have here is one 86 Dodge 600, very much in need of a paint job. In case you're wondering, this is my shop at the U-Haul place. Don't know if they like me using it for a shop, it's still a shed, but I do. They haven't kicked me out yet. These are less than perfect 69 Plymouth Satellite fenders. Which will look a lot better once you get back to the paint shop, as will this white thing next to me. And I have here two 69 Plymouth doors in semi-good shape, but still in good shape. Both of them is completely reusable. A large dent in this one, but again, it's nothing a door skin won't fix. The frame, doors, windows, all the hardware is completely good. Glass, chrome. It's got some wear on it after 41 years, but this can be fixed. And over here is the beast that came off of 169 Plymouth Satellite, originally a 318 904 car, which was average for the Satellite. Power steering is about one of the few options this car had on it. No air conditioning, strictly just a heater. As you can tell, I have the entire front grille, fenders, all that, bumper off, and I do have all that stuff here in the shop with me. And believe it or not, being 41 years old, it's in pretty decent shape. The engine bay, as you can see, has this little rust spots coming through, but I'm sure this is nothing good sandblasting won't fix. See how bad off we are on these inner fenders. I really don't think it's going to be that bad. This one is the ones in question. I might end up having to have that one replaced. I'm really not sure. K-frame, let me tell you, years ago, which I've owned this car since I can't remember, 87 I think, 86, 87, somewhere off in there, and it's had every kind of motor in the world in it, 318, 383s, 440s, you name it, a couple of different 318s. I still have the original 318, which is date coated block and transmission out of here. I don't have no intentions of rebuilding that. That's probably going to get sold or put back for another project, because the 69 318 was actually, even for a small block, was a pretty potent. The 2-barrel really held it back. With 4-barrel carburetor on there, the 318 would really wake that engine up. I mean, no more than just taking that 2-barrel off and throwing a 4-barrel on there would really bring that car to life. And of course, in a heavy B-body, that's not the best. Of course, a Duster or something like that is well more suited for it. But typical, all the front end on this car is about as wore out as it can be wore out. I rebuilt this stuff years ago, and it's just a matter of time. And it's just completely, all the bushings have dry rotted. This car, I hadn't even drove it. Yeah, Jesus, I can't remember when. Early 90s, I think. You know, it's kind of set under a tree, and set here and set there. Interior, still have most of that. Some of that's going to need to be replaced. One area that we're all, anybody that owns a D-body Chrysler, or E-body for that matter, or even A-body, is going to recognize is one rusted ass trunk. And yeah, you think it's that bad on top, it's just that bad on the bottom. Both frame rails, without a doubt, are going to have to be cut out and redone. The deck filler panel up here is tight on one side. Over here on this side, I could literally, if I pushed on it hard enough, put my fist through it. It's how bad it's rusted from the other side. I'll see if I can get up under here and give you a look at it, but you can see. Yeah, I mean, this is bad, yeah, but you know, this is all of these Chryslers for these years. Plymouth, Dodge, every one of them. There's no exception. They all rusted the same. The saying I always heard. But you know, I mean, the trunk mounts and stuff still in good. This is definitely, as you can see right here, got some major rust on it. I don't know if nobody I know of stamps them, unless somebody's come out like AMD or somebody lately. But all that's gonna have to come out and get redone. Probably make some special pieces for that. This one, I'm really not that sure about. I believe this side here is gonna have to. That's a total write-off. I think I'm gonna have to find a replacement for that. Actually, the area above me, above the axle, the rear seat hump, is actually still, that's a pretty still solid piece. I mean, there's no rust on that up to just the floor panning area, as you can see, the typical trunk pan. But as far as that goes, that's still in good shape. I'm going to try to save that. There's a couple areas I'm going to have to probably cut some pieces out and weld some back in. But it's really, you know, I mean, just look at this frame rail down here. I mean, that's Swiss cheese central is what this is. Sorry about getting the light in your face. I'm doing this on a flip video phone. Well, not a phone, it's a little handheld, but you can see that this frame rail has been gone. You know, that's just kind of, when I first saw it, I was like, wow, you know, I know that using it in STAR, it's been like that. And this one down here, of course, it's in no better shape. I mean, they're both, you know, look at that Swiss cheese, man. Typical, you know, typical Chrysler. The rust, as you can see, I mean, this is where it all starts at on these cars. Every one of them. Yeah, I got some bolts stuck off down in there. I won't leave them. Let's take them out of there. You can see around the rear window, it's just gone. I tried to use this and various stuff through the years. Never did work. Probably should have done a better job way back when addressing this issue. I never did. Actually, the last 4 or 5 years has really compounded itself. But pretty much, you know, you have your trim on the back of your window. Runs all the way around. Water collects up under that trim and it's got nowhere to go. And it just stays in there. And stays and stays and stays. And finally, this is what happens. It starts rusting this out. The majority of this is unpainted on the inside. And it just starts rusting this out. Dripping down. You get a drip up under here somewhere. Runs off into here. Down your panels. Into your trunk. You know, your quarter panels start collecting water. There's no plug. You know, I always thought that was retarded. Pulled the plug out, but apparently that was way too late. You know, I mean, water just fills up in there after a good rain, car wash, you name it. And I mean, but you know, that's kind of take it or leave it. I guess that's the way it was, the way they are. There's not really much you can do. I mean, after it started, it's pretty much over with. Now, of course, I've waited way too long, but you know, we're going to see what I can do. Mechanic myself, really no paint and body shop. I'm attempt to do what I can myself, but a lot of it I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to frame out to somebody else, because a lot of this is got some heavy-duty rust or cancer. And myself, I live in South Texas, Galveston, so I'm on the Gulf. Car's been exposed to Gulf moisture and stuff from along since day one. Car was originally purchased by my uncle. And when he got back from Vietnam in Virginia, and I mean, it stayed on the East Coast and then brought it down here, and I took it in I think '87 it was, and had it ever since. No, it's not a Roadrunner GTX, no Hemi, nothing out of the ordinary special. A lot of people wouldn't even consider putting the time and work into this car, but you know, I mean, it's a very usable body. The other thing is a clone. First of all, I'm really not that big of a clone, but I guess if you put the Roadrunner stickers on there and leave the Satellite hood in them where people will know, I guess that'd be something. I'm just kind of seeing all the cars that everybody's took, make clones out of. I really don't care for that. You know, that clone ends up being the guy did it with good intentions, but he ends up selling that car. The guy, he gets it, a girl or whatever, and they try to pass it off on somebody unsuspecting it's real. And then when they find out what's up, it's too late, and their bank account's lighter by about 50 grand or more. Back and forth. But you know, my original intentions for this car, which I had the 440 in it, but I never did that. The back bumpers, as you can tell, is just dead up, completely gone. Got in a wreck in this thing. That explains the majority of this over here. I actually had a guy run into it, sitting still, you know, pushing it out. One guy coming flying into a parking lot and just crammed right in the back of it. Did more cars, but as you can see, we get down here, typical quarter panels. I mean, just look at that. That's just, the quarter panels are really just gone. I mean, it's just, you know, and I feel bad because, yeah, a lot of it's my fault. I neglected a lot of it. Typical, gonna fix it one day, it didn't. And as you can see, this quarter panel over here, it's just as ate up and gone as the rest of them. The lower's out. Out of wheel well, for sure. Get down to here, and that's a hole big enough there for a rat to crawl up in, which I think's already happened. Quarter panels, the upper part straight. Mine are a little dense and stuff. Got a good one right here. I had it under a pine tree, and a limb fell off during a storm. It also got the trunk as well, but I mean, all surprising. That's just something else that's going to have to be dealt with. And the roof, the car used to have the black vinyl top, which is a really popular option. And for why, I'll never understand that Chrysler couldn't, or Plymouth, or any of them, could not at least to put primer under there. I mean, this was bare metal. And you just look at the rust. I mean, the red paint is what I put on there, just kind of playing around in here. But you can see, I mean, all through. And I believe we'll be able to save it. I don't know. I think it's pretty much dead. But, you know, once we get it media blasted, that's going to be the tell-all. And I think that's about it for the rear of the car. Standard rear end, just a Chrysler 8 3/4, highway geared 276, 273, I can't remember which, I think it's 276. You know, nothing special in the rear end. I do plan on putting sure grip back in it, probably a 323 or 355 gear set, I'm really not sure. All the glass in the car is perfectly good. Believe it or not, the door striker, that's actually still in a decent shape on the outside. I mean, there's no rust through on it yet. And yeah, you can tell the hinge is all finagled up, which this is typical. That's weak metal back there. You slam the door a few good times, it's bent. The door handle's the same way on the door. I mean, for the most part, you know, I haven't got the interior completely stripped down yet, as you probably can tell. I still got a lot of ways to go on this. Actually, a lot of the stuff with this car is still, considering the fact I've let it set for so long, and other interests and other stuff going on, you know, it just kind of got put back and forgot about. Door hinges both sides are just completely wore out. Fenders highly rusty. Bench seat, typical. Black vinyl, the entire car, in case you're wondering, was black vinyl seats, black carpet, and black vinyl top. You know, I guess that was, I think that was the most popular color that Plymouth and them did, and Dodge did on these cars. There were other colors, but I think most of what I've seen was black. You know, either everybody liked that and redid theirs, or that was the one that was done the most. And you can kind of look around. Floor panels pretty much are toast, putting it simple. You know, it's still got some rust in here. I think I'm going to have to replace, you know, both of the back seat footwells are pretty much shot out. You can't see if the carpet's in place now, but you know, like I said, the thing's set up for so long. You can just, you know, if you look over there behind the metal piece for the window regulator, you can see the quarter panel from the inside literally just rotting away over there. The typical frame inside of the roof, it's rusty, but I do believe some 415, some good rust stop on here. When you get in here, it's sandblasted. I think I can stop it. It's just how bad it's rusted through on the top that's really, you know, it's got me kind of concerned. I mean, obviously I'm not going to replace the roof. I got to replace the roof. That's definitely going to somebody. I'm really not sure her. Got all the dash pieces. Everything's still intact there. You pretty much see everything's exactly on the dash. Only thing I had added, of course, was the water temp, oil pressure gauge, and a volt gauge. A long time ago, bypassed the factory amp meter gauge. To me, that was the biggest headache on these cars ever. Whoever ran the hot wire through the firewall to a gauge needed their head looked at. But apparently somebody at Chrysler loved the idea. And As you can see, it's got a little rusty on the frame. Of course, I forget the dash out, take it down, sandblast it, and paint that. But surprisingly, it's actually not that rusted. I've been all up under it, and I'm sorry I can't get up under there with the camera. I do want to put air conditioning back in this car. So the stock heater core and stuff is probably be on eBay here soon. Unless the people I'm working with might be interested in it. There's quite a few other places.